really, really excited for this session, and we can't wait to get started. But before I do, I just wanted to say that we're going to first start off with a small intro of Wakelet. So let me actually start sharing my screen. So everyone should be able to see my screen right now. Awesome. Yeah, so like I said, today we're going to be going through some of the integrations, but before we actually get into the part of it, I wanted to actually showcase to you what Wakelet actually is for all of you who are not very well acquainted with the platform. So essentially, Wakelet is a free platform that allows you to save, organize, and present content from the web. And this can then be broken down into a few steps. So essentially, you start off with the bookmarking process. So you can, for example, bookmark any content from the web. So it could be an article, a video, so anything with the URL, basically. You can sort of bookmark it into either your bookmarking area or into a collection. And this is sort of where the next sort of action point comes in, where you can organize all of that content, add text, add images, provide more context to it, and really curate it to make sense and tell your personal story and sort of have it express your thoughts on how you'd like to assemble that content. And finally, you can actually go ahead and collaborate on all of the amazing pieces of items you've added inside of a collection. So you can collaborate with your students, or you can actually collaborate with your PLN. And then you can go ahead and share it to a bunch of awesome platforms that we allow you to share straight from Wakelet. And that essentially is the crux of the platform. And the problem that we're really trying to solve is to provide a single multi-purpose platform that allows people to really organize, share, and present content in one place. And it's just a really, really cool way of doing this inside of Wakelet. We try and make it as simple for you as possible. And this basic concept of being able to save and organize content allows for users to share resources with their students and a host of other user cases. So for example, you have teachers and students collaborating on homework topic areas. You have teachers sharing newsletters through Wakelet, and we have a bunch of webinars going out throughout this amazing community week. And I think you'll have a good chance to actually look through some of the user cases in the other webinars as well. So do keep an eye out. And of course, we have an amazing Wakelet community that supports this entire journey and is really the core of how we develop the platform and the features we add to the platform. So if you are interested in joining this community, a global community of educators, please do get in touch. And I'll be popping a link as well into the chat at the end to the community, so you can always feel free to join in there. And this sort of takes me to the essence of this webinar, which is Wakelet and Microsoft integrations. And you can see a bunch of integrations that we have over here on the screen, but we're going to be concentrating on a few of them. So we're going to be looking into OneNote, Microsoft Teams, the Immersive Reader, and OneDrive. And the whole point of our integrations with Microsoft is that at the core of what we do at Wakelet, we are a great curation platform and collaborative platform, but we understand that our partners do a bunch of things that are outside of our specialty. And to really enhance the value that we provide to our users, we see great value in these amazing integrations. And I really hope that you take away some amazing new and cool ways that you can use these integrations in your classroom. And I'm sure you will, because we have an amazing set of guests over here with Mike and Becky, who are going to take you through these integrations and actually showcase to you how educators are using this as well. So over to you, Mike.
Hey, thanks, Tejas. And thanks for having me, and thanks for everyone for joining today. My name's Mike Tholfsen. I'm going to share my screen here really quick. And I work on the Microsoft education team. And I work a lot with OneNote. I work with the Immersive Reader. I work with Teams. So I work on a lot of the things that we'll be showing the Wakelet integrations with. And Wakelet is one of my favorite products. And so also feel free to follow me on Twitter. I've also been making a lot of YouTube videos, and the link here in the deck is available for lots of quick tips. And I'm going to have Becky introduce herself as well before we get going. So Becky.
Hi everyone, I'm Becky Keene. I am a huge fan of Wakelet, and isn't that why we're all here today? I'm an educator in the Seattle area of the United States, and my Twitter and website and contact is all on screen. Happy to be here with you.
Great, thanks, Becky. And I'll just say right after all the things we're going to show, I will be posting in one of my quick tip videos right afterwards. So what's nice is a 2-minute video will show lots of the things that you're about to see a little extended version of. But I just want to give people a heads up. Now, what's interesting is right here, this tweet. It's very nice that we've got Becky and Tejas on this webinar with me, because I think Becky's tweet might have helped start all of this, because Becky, gosh, it's over a year ago at this point, put out a tweet that's
like a year and a half ago.
April 2019. So she put out a tweet essentially saying, wouldn't it be great if Wakelet and OneNote could integrate together? And I barely knew what Wakelet was at that point. Now, I kind of heard of them, but I hadn't used it. And so I got a hold of Tejas on Twitter, and we schemed and we worked with our engineering teams. And within a week, we lit up the integration between Wakelet and OneNote. And that was the very first integration between our two companies. And then it's led to many others, as you'll see today. But it's kind of fun to see that it's come full circle. And I'm going to briefly show, what does that look like to see Wakelet embedded in OneNote. And then Becky's going to show more details from the educator side. So she probably uses Wakelet even more than me, and I use Wakelet a lot. So first off, we're going to switch. I'm going to go to a web browser here. Let me just find, it's actually right in here. And let me grab a Wakelet collection. So I've got a Wakelet collection here on Microsoft Translator, which I'm a big fan of. Now let's say I have my Wakelet link at the top, and I want to copy and paste that into OneNote. So I can have, for example, you can see I've got a few little pages I've created in OneNote with my Wakelet collections, which is really nice. But I'm going to create a brand new page, and we'll give it the little wave, because I have to have the Wakelet wave emoji for my pages. And we'll call it translator here. And all I do is paste the URL in OneNote, and it will render the Wakelet right there automatically. And now I can go and I can size it and make it bigger. And if I just hit refresh, what it does is it'll render that whole list right in OneNote. And so what's really cool is that now I can have all my Wakelets. You can see all this is right here. I can size it. I can make literally a notebook full of Wakelet pages, which is really cool. And it's a really nice way, if you use OneNote in the classroom, to be able to organize and to be able to have people or students or peers access all this content. And so that's a really easy integration where it's literally just pasting the link into OneNote, and it renders that entire Wakelet on the page, and it's sizable. And now with that, I'm going to kick it back to Becky. This is how we're going to do it. I'll show it briefly. Becky's going to go into more depth on how she uses it, and then we'll do the same thing when we get to Immersive Reader and Teams and other things. So Becky, I'm going to kick it over to you.
Thanks, Mike. We are just back and forth. And Mike and I joked about, like, if he says it, I won't say it. And if I say it, he'll jump in. Like, we just have so much to share about this integration. And let me start by saying, I heart OneNote. Like, OneNote is the thing that has kept me organized and surviving for 15 years. So sometimes people ask me, like, did you quit using OneNote? I'm like, no, these are two different tools. So the issue that I have with using OneNote to curate links, which is one of the top beginning uses of Wakelet, even though there's so much more we can do, is just to create a list of resources around a topic. So here I have, for example, this is in my OneNote, this list of resources I'm collecting on games and education, which is a topic that I've been doing a lot of professional growth around for the last several years. And the process here is like copy the URL, paste it to OneNote, repeat. And then I come back and I look at this list, and because I'm human and I'm a visual learner, I can't remember which article was for which process. And then to share this with anyone, I have to copy and paste this out into maybe an email or put it in a collaborative notebook. And it's just not that great of a process. I've also seen some people do this, which is our way of trying to give visual support to a text-based page. And I love adding images to OneNote, but when we're curating a list of links and providing that for others, I have to say, just know there's a better way to do this. And that is what Mike just showed you. So I took that same content that was a list in OneNote and I dropped it into Wakelet, and then I pasted the link from Wakelet into OneNote. And you can see now I have, PDF pages that I uploaded. I have all these links. I have images. I have all of these things that fit now right inside of my OneNote notebook. I'm actually going to play this again. So I resize it to fit the space and the content that's inside. And then I can scroll through all of the resources in the Wakelet without leaving my OneNote page. What an amazing opportunity for students and educators to have that highly visual supported environment. Here's another example. I just recently went through my ISTE certification this school year, and there were lots of different links and resources I had to keep track of for my own professional growth. And I know that teachers are providing students with lots of different landing pages right now to get to their Seesaw portfolio and their class team and their Flipgrid and all these different places. And so one thing you can do is curate those together in a Wakelet collection. And what's great about Wakelet is that there's a browser extension for Chrome as well as Edge Chromium. So all I have to do to add resources to this collection is just right there in the extension, add to Wakelet. Then I drop that Wakelet link in my OneNote. And now as I add and curate resources to this list from the internet, they're automatically populating over here in OneNote where I can get to them anytime. It is such a huge time saver. I've used this with students. So keeping a list of resources for this is like a math unit where I've added resources about the area and perimeter. And that's where I'm distributing content to the students. But I've also used it inside OneNote when students are collaborating. So they're working together to put together a list of websites that they've found are really helpful for an upcoming project on ancient civilizations. And instead of then sending them out to Wakelet every time, they're able to view those resources right here from within OneNote in their collaboration space of their class notebook. So there are so many possibilities here. I could go on and on, giving you lots of suggestions. But for now, I'm going to kick it back to Mike, who's going to talk to you more about Teams integration.
Great, thanks, Becky. That's really cool. So, and actually, Becky, maybe you have your slide up here still? I wonder if we'll just leave it here just because it's like 2 slides. If you my slide clicker for like a minute.
I can be your slide clicker.
Thank you. So the most recent integration, and one of the ones that I think is really impactful given, Teams, especially during COVID-19, has exploded in usage and popularity, and actually global usage has gone really far. And so I think this new integration, well, it's not new, but we've made it better inside of Teams, is really powerful. Again, having everything in one place is really helpful.
Yeah.
And so, Becky, if you can go to the next slide, it just has a couple of different ways, sort of describes what I'll be showing here in a second. But you can sign into your Wakelet account inside of Teams. You can pin pages inside of Teams. You can even use it inside of messages and add links really easily. And so if you go to the next slide, I think this is where I'll share my screen again, and we'll show some of these. Yeah, and this just shows some examples of how you might use it. Becky's going to talk through it a little bit more, but there's some examples here where you can be using Wakelet inside of the classroom with Teams.
This is like the pause moment, Mike, where people need to screen clip this and tweet it out, right? This is a fabulous graphic to be sharing.
Yeah, it is nice. And actually the class newsletter is really nice too. I know Wakelet's great for newsletters. And when we talk about the Immersive Reader later, we'll show that as well. Mm-hmm. But there's lots of great ideas on this page. Yeah, if you want to screenshot it or also get the deck that Tejas is going to make public after this is done.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share my screen and go into Microsoft Teams now. And give me just a second here. And I will share. And I'm going to switch over to Teams. So here I am inside of Teams. And I've already added one Wakelet pin here. The way you add the Wakelet app in Teams is up at the top on these tabs here. There's a plus button. And when I click this, it's going to let me choose. I've already used Wakelet recently, so it shows up. But you can search for Wakelet here. And you click Wakelet, which is an app. And you're going to add this as what's called a tab app. So it shows across the top. And when you add a tab app, you'll actually be able to paste a URL. So I'm going to paste that translator Wakelet I had before, and I'll click Save. And so what it's going to do is add that translator Wakelet as a tab right up here. So look at that. Now I've got the full translator Wakelet, and Immersive Reader, which we'll get to, shows up too. So Tejas' team added that feature recently. So the Immersive Reader shows up embedded inside of the Teams Immersive Reader tab app.
That looks like a great video.
Yeah, exactly. Good thing I made a video about all this. I have another one that I pinned up as a tab app. So again, back to kind of what Becky was talking about organization. Maybe there's resources for your PLC or staff. Maybe it's resources in your class, and it's very easy. So you don't have to say, open up your browser, go to this link, go do that. You can just pin it so everyone can easily find it and just have it right there. So that's really useful. The other thing that this Wakelet app does is it lets you right from the bottom here, and it might be hard to see with the little share charm being in the way, but there's a little W down here for Wakelet right along. So if I'm going to make a new post a message at the bottom, if I can get my little, is there a way to move that out of the way? My little, there we go. There's a W down here, and I click the W, and it lets me search my Wakelet collection. So if I have a OneNote I search for, here's all the OneNote Wakelets I have. So I can actually just add that Wakelet right into my message, and I can give it a subject like, hey, check out the OneNote Wakelet. And I can post that message right into the posts area of Teams. So it's really easy. There's a little, what's called a message extension, that little W at the bottom. Now, the other thing that it has is, this is a newer feature. Let's say, I've posted, there's a YouTube video that Teacher Kara posted. And let's say I want to add this link. It doesn't have to be YouTube. It could be any link. Now, if you go to when you hover over any message in Teams, you click the ... menu. And at the bottom, there's more actions. And because I've installed the Wakelet app, this little flyout here, I could say save to Wakelet. So if I want to save that link to my Wakelet, there we go. It can, I'll log in, but it lets me choose to save that link directly to a Wakelet. Because I was in incognito mode, it's going to make me sign in again. I was in a sort of incognito private mode. But what it'll do now is allow me to save this to any of my Wakelet collections really easy, right? So here's, I make a lot of Wakelets. I'll bet Becky makes more, but I've made a lot, Becky. You gotta give me some credit.
You're crazy on the Wakelets. I don't know. You might have me beat.
If I want to add that video to one of my collections, I just select it and save it. So really easy. Again, where that is on the ... menu of any post. You go to more actions and say save to Wakelet, and you can save it right out. So again, saving time, being more organized, making it easy to collaborate in Teams. Those are some of the new Wakelet tab app features that are built right into Teams. And again, what I'm going to do is let Becky show you some of the ways that she's been using it as an educator. So Becky, I'm going to stop sharing and let you take over.
Thanks, Mike. So I'm going to show some of the same features, but with that educator application, which Mike is so great about talking over as well. But basically, when you're in Teams, the first thing you want to do, in my little opinion, is go over to your Me space, your app bar over on the left-hand side, and search for the Wakelet app. So type that in, bring it up, select it. Then when you go to install the app, you can then use it in your Teams and also in your chat. So you need to go grab that in your team and make sure it's available so you can use all of the things that Mike just showed. again, in your team and also in your chat messages as well. So here's just an example where I've added, and this is for a professional development session where we're leading Minecraft training, as I'm sure many of you are all over the world right now. And we've taken this Wakelet of Minecraft resources and just dropped it into a team that we're using for professional learning. So this way, the educators can have access to the content. They also have access to that handy little Immersive Reader icon, which we're going to talk more about in a few minutes. But I wanted to point out that it works inside of Teams frame. So everything that you're doing in Wakelet and Microsoft fits together so beautifully. This is an example of a newsletter. Mike had just pointed out, and I can't scroll through all of this because, like, you know, some of it's top secret, but I just wanted people to know this is very authentic. I use Wakelet for our own newsletters at I2E, the company that I work for. And that's how we communicate our updates with all of our entire team members. And then we drop that in Teams. Now we've created this monthly newsletter channel in the team that we work together. And then I put all of the newsletters here and I pin the most recent one as a tab to the top. So people can, you know, we're all so busy, it's just hard to remember where the resource was shared. And members of our team can always go back and go, oh, that was on a newsletter a few months ago, and they can come in and find that information because it's stored easily in Wakelet. So ideas for things to put into Teams with Wakelet: newsletters, a resource list for an upcoming unit you're teaching, templates for projects. I love using Wakelet as a template where I can give students some scaffolded directions on what I'm expecting, and then they go fill in the blanks on Wakelet. They add the resources, they add text, they add a Flipgrid video, they add a file, and when they're done, they have this complete project. It's kind of like using Quickstarter in Sway or PowerPoint, where we give kids an opportunity to understand where to go and what to do. I've seen it used as steps to a science lab because teachers can add text and video support all the way down their Wakelet page. One of my favorites as a personal book lover is the recommended book list. Educators are asking their students to contribute to a Wakelet collection, and then they pin that inside Teams so that kids who are, you know, looking for that next book to read always have access to those class recommendations. And I think a pervasive theme you're hearing us talk about today is information needs to be at our fingertips. We are flooded in information in 2020 more than ever before in history. And so to be able to put that into really organized packages and give it to not only ourselves, but also our students and our fellow educators in a way that really makes sense is very, very important. The other Teams integration that Mike talked about that I love, that's kind of new, he mentioned, is that send to Wakelet. So I can take resources that other people have shared in Teams conversations and toss it over into my Wakelet collection. I don't know about you, but my team at I2E is always sharing you know, articles that they've read, resources that they've found, quick tip links. And I can go in, grab that straight from Teams. I don't have to copy and paste anywhere, modify it. And I can even save it to more than one collection at a time. Check this out. I could choose several different collections and then drop it in. And now it's saved and available for me from my mobile device or anywhere else that I am. So I love that one. What?
That's for me. I didn't know you could do multiples like that. That's cool.
Yeah, I just discovered that actually. I was like, I can check off more than one. That's super exciting. And then the last one that Mike was just talking about is this opportunity that we have. Let me modify. There we go. Where we can actually add those Wakelet collections back in as a message extension. So I've been in so many different situations where I want to share these resources with educators, and I have two options. One is to send them a follow-up email with this giant list of links, or two is to go ahead and give them a link to a Wakelet collection, which is so much more important. My last thing that I want to show that I'm extra excited about is the connection between collaboration and view. So if I want to have my students all work together with me on a Wakelet collection, then what I do is I go to Wakelet and I grab that contributor link and I drop it in the conversation as a post. So you can see down here I have, it's a little bit fuzzy kind of, and it's like filling my screen. This is a weird size. I don't know how to fix that. But the point is, I just type in, here's where to add to our Wakelet collection. Or I could even do this as an assignment in Teams, where I give students directions to go to that join link code so that they are now a contributor to the Wakelet collection. So that's step one. I get them in as a contributor. And then step two, I add the view link to that collection as a tab in Teams. So they can add to that collection as they find great resources, but then they can view the collection anytime they need to come back to it right here within Teams. So it's this really nice kind of edit, author, and publish flow that helps students see their work is being viewed by others and they're contributing to something that everyone can use for an authentic purpose. So that's my other exciting little tip for you. Okay, back to Mike for Immersive Reader.
Yes, and this is, for those of you that know me, this is one of my favorites. I'm a big Immersive Reader fan. The team I work on builds the Immersive Reader, so I might not be completely objective, Becky. I might have this might be one of my favorites.
I think that's okay. We're not here to be objective.
So Immersive Reader, for those of you that don't know, and I'll show some demo for sure. Immersive Reader was a tool that, and I was on the original team that helped build the Immersive Reader many years ago. And we said, what if we took the latest science and research around reading and we focus inclusively on dyslexia and students with dyslexia as our sort of core persona that we're going to really try and help out. But the idea was these techniques would likely help all people with reading and help people, dyslexia, ADHD, English language learners, early readers, mainstream readers, parents, it turns out, are big consumers of this tool as well. And so we built the Immersive Reader initially into Microsoft products, but about a year ago, we made it available for all sorts of other apps to use, such as Wakelet and many other EdTech apps. Many of your favorite apps out there use it now too. Wakelet uses it, Nearpod, ThingLink, Bunsey, Canvas, and Wakelet. Yeah. There's many. I think there's almost 100 total that have used it in some way or another.
And more coming.
Oh yes, more and more coming for sure. Actually, there might be one in a week and a half that's coming that I can't tell, but it's super cool. Anyways, I'll tease that one. Immersive Reader in Wakelet was one of the very first integrations. And again, because of the work we did with OneNote and Immersive Reader, the Wakelet team was excited to integrate this because the idea is this makes text, no matter how small or big, accessible to everyone. And I'm going to show some of those examples. I think the other thing that Wakelet maybe discovered before many others we've talked to, I think the parent access, especially parents of non-native speakers, that's been huge with Wakelet newsletters. So now parents that maybe weren't able to access the content of the parent newsletter in Wakelet, they can use Immersive Reader, they can engage. It's really inclusive and helps includes parents of non-native speakers. So I'm going to share here, and I will show a demo of Immersive Reader for people who've never seen it. Give me just a second, and I'm going to flip to. So here I am in the same translator. This is the Wakelet collection I made on Translator. And for those of you that maybe haven't ever noticed, there's this little Immersive Reader icon hovering next to any of these places where there's a little text. So in this case, I'm going to click this right here. And what it's going to do is launch this special screen that's called the Immersive Reader. And I'll sort of walk and talk through what this is and how it works. So first off, what you'll see is that it reduces distractions, and we call this focus mode. And down at the bottom, I'm going to click play.
Inclusively communicate with students and parents in your district a collection of Microsoft Translator training.
And is that audio coming through? I'm not even sure, Becky. I'm just going to hope it does.
Yes, the audio is.
Great. And I hit a play button. It might have been hidden there. You can also change the speed. So I can make the voice faster or slower. I can choose a male or female voice. Now I can also go in the upper right and I can change the different text preferences. And so if you want to increase spacing, I had spacing turned on. So there's research that shows many people experience visual crowding, students with dyslexia, not students with dyslexia. And if you increase spacing, for some people that can help improve focus and reading speed. I can change the background color really easily. And so you can notice here, I'm clicking on these different themes and it allows me to change the background color. And we've got many different themes to choose from that are tuned for accessibility. So again, that allows personalization and customization for students who want or need this. Now, if I want to make the font or the text size much bigger, it's very easy for me to make that way bigger. So if I just want to have a couple of words per line called short line mode, I can do that. Or think about students with visual impairments, or think about maybe students that are practicing words a bit more. And so it's very easy to customize that. Now, for some of the other things, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go and show, before I show some of the other features, I'm going to show a different place that Wakelet has integrated the Immersive Reader, because I think this is really powerful, again, for even reading larger documents. So if I go down,
game changer level.
Yeah.
Like if anyone zoned out or went to get coffee, now is not the time. Come back.
So if you hover over any of these articles, you're going to see this. It's in beta, but it's read mode. So if I click read mode, Wakelet does already, which is amazing. You can see they've simplified this whole article and put it into read mode. And so that already works across the board. But now they have this Immersive Reader button at the top. So basically any article or blog, if I click Immersive Reader, what it's going to do is take that whole thing and put it into sort of Immersive Reader mode, just like you said. So if I want to go and do all those things and read aloud, I can do that. But now some of the other Immersive Reader features, things like breaking words into syllables. So think about non-native speakers, early readers, students with dyslexia. If I click syllable breaks, and I'm going to space that out so we can see it a little better, you can see that it breaks words into syllables automatically. And if I want to highlight the nouns on the page, I can do that, and they're purple. If I want to highlight the verbs on the page, or the adjectives, or even the adverbs, then I can customize the colors. Maybe I want the nouns to be blue. Maybe I can't distinguish any colors and I want to show labels, so I can highlight the different parts of speech with labels, but it's very customizable. So I can choose to use some or none or all of these things at once. And the last couple of things I'm going to show are maybe, I think, some of the most powerful. If I go to reading preferences, let's say I want to focus my eyes on a single line, like a reading ruler, where I'm going to abstract and put an overlay on the page to help focus my eyes. We made a digital version of that. That's called line focus. So I can still read out loud.
Create a more inclusive classroom for both students and parents with live translation and caption.
And I can scroll this manually. See these on the upper, on the right and left buttons. I can go up and down. And I can choose 3 lines or 5 lines. So again, very easy to customize. The other thing we have is an in-picture dictionary. So if I click on different words, I can get a picture.
Tools.
And read that out loud.
Tools.
So it's very easy to get a picture dictionary for lots of words.
Parents.
And I can translate. So back to the inclusive nature, especially for parents of non-native speakers. Well, now I can translate this entire document in the Wakelet read mode in over 67 languages. And I'm going to choose, in this case, Spanish. And I'm going to choose document. And now the entire document, I'll read that out loud.
Crear un aula más inclusiva tanto para los estudiantes como para los padres con traducción en vivo y subtítulos.
And it'll read the entire document out loud. And you can see it still breaks the words into syllables. I can highlight parts of speech just like I did before. And so, if I want to translate that into, French, very easy. I just translate the document into French and I can read that out loud.
Créer une salle de classe plus inclusive pour les élèves et les parents avec traduction en direct.
And I can go back to original or French. So all of that is right there in the Wakelet read mode. So you can basically take most articles and blogs on the web and pop it into read mode, and then you can use Immersive Reader if you want or not. So again, all of these different articles have this read mode. So if you never noticed read mode, I suggest you try it out and then try popping it into the Immersive Reader as well. And so again, with that, what I'll do is kick it back to Becky, who's going to walk through some more examples of Immersive Reader, Wakelet. Maybe she'll show Immersive Reader in Wakelet in Teams. Like, who knows? So Becky, I'm going to kick it back to you.
It's like Inception, right?
That's right.
How many different layers can we go? Hey, Mike, we had a couple of asks in the chat: Albanian, Croatian, and I don't have the list of languages memorized, Arabic. So people are excited about using, even more. So I don't know if you want to comment on that.
I'll answer them live. I'll type them in the chat too. So Arabic, we actually support. We recently added parts of speech. We have read aloud and translation and parts of speech for Arabic, as well as picture dictionary. Hindi, yes, we have Hindi. We have some other Indian languages beyond Hindi. Croatian, unfortunately, we don't support yet, but I know because there's been a lot of new users of Teams in Croatia that Croatian is on a request list for over the next 6 months to a year. I can't promise a timeline, but it is on a list that we've created. So I hope Croatian is coming. I don't know Albanian and Welsh off the top of my head. We translate to Welsh. I just don't know if we do Welsh. So I'll answer others in the question as well. Thanks, Becky.
Yeah, no, perfect. I know, so many people who have followed Microsoft Education recently know how well they listen to educators. So keep asking, asking for what you need. This is a prime example. That's where the story started. Is someone asked, I asked, hey, I would love for this to happen. So keep asking everyone. Yeah. That's where it just gets better for everyone. So Mike and I present together from time to time, and we have this joke about like, don't steal my show, like don't show the cool stuff. And Mike is going first, so he's getting to show all the cool stuff. But I'm going to show it again. We have so many people, Mike, in the chat who are like, whoa, wait, what?
Yeah, I'll get to the chat.
I didn't know that too. And other people who are chiming in with, not only did they know it, but they have great examples. So keep adding those things to the chat, everyone. It's so exciting to watch. So I just want to reiterate the thing that I find most amazing about Immersive Reader in Wakelet. So not only can we read text that's been added to Wakelet as text and headlines within the Wakelet interface, but also what blew Andrew's mind, and I think for a lot of us, is that Immersive Reader beta, when you hover on an article and I get that little beta icon, that means that I can read that article in Immersive Reader from any web browser anywhere on the planet with an internet connection. So, a lot of us who use Edge, Chromium, or Edge browser know that Immersive Reader is a big part of that, where we can use read aloud and those types of things. And it's quickly adding some of those features that we enjoy, like parts of speech and syllabification and those types of things, to Edge browser. But this is actually, I'm going to say it, Mike, more powerful because it has the complete package of all the Immersive Reader features, and it pulls whatever article you've sent your students or parents to. And then you could be using any web browser. It's not browser dependent. So this is gigantic. Like, blew my mind when I heard this was coming to Wakelet. Just massive level of excitement. So here's an example of a collection that I'm curating for students, and I just hover on that read beta, and I'm actually going to pause my video really quickly because I want to point out what happens first is we get this opportunity at the top to save this article to our own, or launch Immersive Reader on it, or visit the original. And I think that's really helpful because we need to do different things with this content. So this is about Immersive Reader, but this initial screen is important because sometimes there are graphics and images that support the story or the text, and we know as educators those nonfiction text support are things that we expect our students to pay attention to. So students can go back and forth between that immersive reader experience and viewing in this beautiful clean frame that's free of ads and doesn't have distractions. And then they could also go in to visit the original and look at the article in its original website. So for education, this is gigantic. All the pieces of this make an impact on students for learning, which I just am a huge fan of. So this is the article in this view read mode. Again, reducing distractions, removing ads, and all of the difficulties that come with sending kids out to websites on the internet. Remember back in the day, we were scared to send kids anywhere on the internet. And then we have the immersive reader features built in that Mike just pointed out. And he spent a great time going over those. Oh, whoa, that jumped. That was weird. Hang on.
I will add too. I think in the next month, and I can't announce what they are, but there's about 5 new languages coming to for the translation portion of Immersive Reader. So that's just something to look forward to. Watch the blogs and the
watch the blogs. That's where we get all our updates, right? That and following Mike on Twitter. So this information, I think, is so incredibly important as educators, because we have students who maybe they've heard the word, especially students who are new to a language. They have often a much larger vocabulary auditory because they have heard the language spoken, but they haven't necessarily seen the word written out in front of them. So the picture dictionary support that Immersive Reader offers is really important. But in addition to that, the audio tools that are available so that a student can stop and look at picture support and then also hear the word. Often, I know I have 2 children, and often they will, they'll go, hey, can you tell me this word? And I'll, we're driving, they're reading a book, and I'll say, spell it. And it's a word that they have heard, they just didn't know the spelling. Maybe it's not a consistent spelling. And then the opportunity to choose a language on top of that, so the students can see the word in both languages inside the picture dictionary. And this is something that I'm hearing world language teachers are using to support learning a second language, or a third or a fourth language across the board, because students are getting that support to be able to see whatever information they need to support their learning. Now, the thing that, and we all love Immersive Reader if you're used to using it in OneNote or in Word or Outlook or Office Lens or wherever you're using it, I think that the kicker here is that it is right here inside of Wakelet and pulls content from the entire internet. I can't say that any louder or better or differently. It is 100% the biggest game changer for accessible text, because it works on top of any article type website. It doesn't work necessarily on a website, just as a caveat, that's a web gallery of images or something that doesn't have text. But if you are sending your students to an article to read and learn about something, then it works beautifully. So I just want to give a huge shout out to the Wakelet team for doing this, because it really goes above and beyond their call to action, I think, and it adds this functionality that makes a difference in the lives of students and families all over the world. So super, super exciting.
Hey, Becky, one more thing I'll just add, just because we're on the webinar, we're talking about Immersive Reader, and there were some questions on this. And we kind of announced it a while ago, but I just wanted to give people an update. Probably in, I'm going to say July, I hope, we're going to be adding a large number of new pictures to our picture dictionary, which is from Boardmaker. Probably for some languages, 10 to 15,000 new images, which is a lot.
Whoa.
So just tons more images coming to the picture dictionary in the next month or 2.
That's phenomenal. A lot of the images right now are nouns, verbs. So it's exciting to think about more being added. That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to add in, Mike.
But there's more
about the Immersive Reader and whether or when, in fact, it would be allowed to be used on PDFs? Is there an announcement perhaps coming soon?
Well, it'll work on PDFs. Well, the full Immersive Reader. So yeah, your question is the full Immersive Reader on PDFs. I would say it's in the plan. I don't have a time frame yet. We were sort of due to COVID-19, there were some things we had to delay and change. And one of those things was PDF support. So that's definitely in our backlog of things we want to support. So for example, being able to pull text from the PDF and render the Immersive Reader. PDFs are a little trickier to deal with just for some technical reasons. So it's not as easy as plain text or HTML, as they would say. But it's in the plan. I can't share a date yet. It changed a little bit with COVID.
No problem. No, thanks.
Great call out though, and just a reminder for those asking, although I can't run the full Immersive Reader on a PDF, there are some other things you can do. So if not to sideline, but if you're using Edge browser, then you do have read aloud on top of PDFs, and of course you can mark up. And then if you're sending those to OneNote, you have some additional functionality there with a PDF. So the integration of PDF to other places, not just like a straight reader, is really helpful for looking to get that text accessible. Mike is going to talk about OneDrive though, I think. And I just actually learned a tip the other day that I'm going to try to remember to share.
Yeah, and I actually don't have a if you have a demo of this one, that's great, Becky. I didn't have a demo. Yo, perfect. So yeah, the other one is they recently added the ability to access your OneDrive. So if you have Wakelet and you sign into your OneDrive, so OneDrive is the Microsoft 365 equivalent of just a hard drive in the sky. It's similar to G Drive if you're familiar with Google G Drive. Ours is called OneDrive, and a lot of people put files in there. And so Wakelet made it really easy to access your direct files from the little collection widget here. So Becky, if you have something to show, that's great.
Oh yeah, I do. And okay, so just to start off, just a reminder, when you're in Wakelet, you press the little plus button, and there are actually two specifically Microsoft integrations. One is OneDrive and the other is Flipgrid Video. So we can add a Flipgrid video, not a link to it, but record a Flipgrid video right from here, which wasn't, one of our huge talking points, because I think that's covered in some of the other sessions. But in case this is the only one you're watching during Wakelet Community Week, just a reminder, you can be adding a Flipgrid video. The Shorts Recorder works right here within Wakelet. You don't have to leave and go to another app and then send the link over. Very simple. But OneDrive specifically, this is really powerful because, of course, I have these resources that I've saved or created. Maybe they're curriculum resources or documents or presentations or data sets that I need to share with students, even videos. And I can do that by taking that OneDrive file and sending it right into Wakelet. So I did make a little screencast. Now, what's interesting about this, I'm gonna like go back. I want to go back and pause here. Can I back up? Yes, I can back up. Here we go. Okay, so one thing to note is that you saw at the beginning that little pop-up when you use this feature. OneDrive will tell you, hey, just a reminder, you're creating, you're now giving access. Like people will have view-only access to this file. So it's like letting you know that information, that they'll be able to see whatever you're sharing. And here I am in my school. This is actually a demo account, but it's a school Office 365 account. So I could use my personal Microsoft account, or no, why did it just do that? Or I can use my Office 365 account. And I think that's really important to point out to people that both will work. Then what I can do here from that account is I can go navigate to my folders in my OneDrive, Office 365 School OneDrive, and choose something. But I can also check this out. I have my shared document libraries. Those are from Teams. So my Teams files that I've uploaded as assignments, I could actually go grab one of those and add it to a Wakelet collection as well. And if I need to switch accounts to my personal, I can right here from within the Wakelet interface. one of the things that I wanted to point out is that when you go grab a file, it brings it in a little bit visually not appealing. So I always edit that. I change the little title. I add a description so that I can remember what this is if I need to, especially if this is student or parent facing. I want to give them additional information about what I'm sharing. And then I use that little edit image button, and I either bring in my own image or I choose an image that represents my file from the library. So in this case, it was about writing a biography. So I'm just finding an image that I think kind of works before I click done. And that allows me to customize that look. Sometimes I use the Word icon that I've found and saved. Sometimes I might use the PowerPoint icon. But I think adding those visuals and those descriptions is really important. Now, I'm glad I'm going to remember. Someone said to me the other day, Jill Sitnick, I doubt she's on this call, she might be, but she said to me the other day that she is using Wakelet to keep track of her own documents. So for example, she has a collection of, all the documents that she needs to approve. She works in the US training partner program for Microsoft. So all the things that she needs to set up a new cohort in a school system, or all the documents that she needs to approve a new training program. She's actually using Wakelet to organize her own OneDrive into sets of materials, because sometimes people have shared documents with you and you have it stored in Teams and also in your OneDrive. And so she's using Wakelet, again, to self-organize her files from all these different places into one Wakelet collection. And then she's added those. Hope she doesn't mind, I'm just sharing her whole workflow here with the world. But she's added them to OneNote. So in OneNote, she has these different pages of Wakelet collections that are launch points for her to do her work. And I think that is a really creative use of all of these tools working together. She's using Wakelet, OneDrive, OneNote, all to build efficiency in her own job. And I think that is a worth sharing. So I sent it out there for everyone to hear about. I think that's really cool. And I know that we want to wrap up by talking about where you can learn more about all of the ways these tools work together.
Yeah, I was just going to sort of say that we have an amazing course on the Microsoft Educator Center. It's a hugely popular course where we take you through the basics of Wakelet. So if you are interested, do check it out. I'll be popping a link into the chat right at the end after we finish off, along with all the other links. And just to also say that we will be sending you an email with all the links. So please do keep an eye out.
I almost forgot.
Yeah.
I almost forgot. So everyone, I'm wearing my Wakelet jersey, but you can't see it. It's too low.
Yeah,
so I just wanted everyone to know I was representing this morning. It just was cut off in the frame.
I wear my Wakelet blue.
I'm too short.
And my eyes are blue, so I'm like on brand today. Full
No, both of you have turned out completely on brand. No, I mean, I'm sure we're going to get 1,000 requests for that T-shirt now, Becky. It's going to go viral.
I have to say, it's very comfortable. It's breathable. I feel like it's something I can wear all day very comfortably, and I get to represent Wakelet, so that's fun.
So maybe we'll send you over one as well, Mike.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. But no, yeah. So finally, Becky, can you please do me a favor and go to the last slide?
Yes, I sure
Thanks so
can.
much. Yeah, it's essentially just to share that we have a growing community globally, and we're very active on Twitter. So if you actually go ahead and check us out on Twitter, I'll put in the links again at the in the chat, and you can keep up to date with all of the updates that we have coming in, and also just sort of interact with our amazing community who are so supporting and helpful. I mean, you've just seen Becky showcase some amazing ideas, and Mike as well. Both of them are super active on Twitter, and any questions you have as well, I'm sure they'll be answering on Twitter if you tag them in. But now a big thank you to our guests. Thanks so much, Mike and Becky. That was super insightful. I mean, I myself learned a little more. I was really almost inspired by the example you showcased at the end about how your friend Becky had used the OneDrive integration with Wakelet. That's super creative.
I thought that was so creative too. And I'm just putting back up our contact info. I guess we're not on the same slide. So
yeah, I'm going to put in all of your contact details on the chat as well at the end, so it shouldn't be a problem. But no, thanks again so much to Becky and Mike for joining in.
Pleasure.
And
Thanks for having us. Great.
No, it's a pleasure. And thanks everyone for actually joining. Thank you to the entire education community for turning up. We know it's a hard time for everyone right now around the world. And we just like to say a big thank you. And we really hope that this session has provided value that you can take back to your classrooms and really take your learning experience to the next level. So thanks so much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.